Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another video. Today we will be finally talking about the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4. But before we get into the details, I just want to mention that I will be streaming on a new cool social media app called Countach almost every day. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. I hope to see you guys there. It's like live streaming, but it's mainly just my phone camera. So yes, it'll be me in person. And yeah, I hope to see you guys there and come by and say hi when you get a chance. And also look out for a very special announcement coming within the next day or so regarding some cool Asphalt 9 stuff. But yeah, right now I can't talk about it, but hopefully it will be announced very soon. So let's talk about the Countach because it is extremely controversial at the moment. A lot of people are starting what is basically a boycott of the Legend Pass because if you get to level 50 of the Legend Pass, that is the only way you'll get the key for the Countach. Now, in theory, that's not the worst thing in the world. However, now that we've gotten new seasons for the Legend Pass and there have been some leaks about what the requirements are for the future missions, we do know that it is going to be very, very difficult to get this key. And for a lot of people who are buying the Legend Pass, that is a problem, and I'll explain that here. So mainly the biggest controversy is again about that key being unlocked at level 50 and having to buy the Legend Pass in the first place to get a chance at getting the key. And the big problem is about the requirements in order to get the key itself. Now, completing missions, going through the different weeks, honestly, that's not that different than going through a special event. However, like with other special events in the past, the requirements for getting past these missions in the Legend Pass are very, very high. So even at the second week, you'll need to have multiple Lamborghinis start up at least 2 or 3 stars, which for some players is not very possible. And for Legend Pass owners, I feel like buying the Legend Pass is almost an excuse to get around those requirements. And so not only having to buy the Legend Pass itself, but also having these extremely high requirements is not that great for players. It doesn't feel very balanced or very fair at all. So when it comes to the monetary aspect of actually getting the Countach in the first place, a lot of people are not recommending that you buy the Legend Pass, and I wouldn't recommend it as well unless you have like every Lamborghini in the game at max and you know that you'll have enough time to play and grind out these missions and basically guarantee yourself a key. But yeah, that's probably like what, less than 0.01% of all players in the game. So overall, I just don't think it's going to be worth buying the Legend Pass this time around, not to mention a couple of key aspects regarding this Legend Pass. Not only is it almost half the length of time, I believe the total time is 35 days instead of around 50 or 60 days, but you also can no longer skip the tiers. In previous Legend Passes, you could actually buy your way through the top of the Legend Pass. So if there was like a couple of things that you needed to do to get to that level 50, you could spend a couple thousand tokens to actually get your way there pretty easily. Now you can no longer do it. So the only way to get to that key at the moment is to buy the Legend Pass and complete almost every single mission to get to level 50. So again, not only is it a pretty decent monetary commitment having to spend the money to get the Legend Pass in the first place, but you'll also need to commit yourself to starring up and upgrading basically all of the Lamborghinis in the game, at least also the newer ones and some of the ones that came with keys that are going to be very hard to get now. But you also need to commit yourself to the time it takes in order to complete all of the missions in the Legend Pass. So in terms of this car's obtainability, it is, well, basically unobtainable. And again, a lot of people are very frustrated. Is it a very powerful car? Yes, but that's what we're going to discuss here in a sec. So regarding the performance of the Countach, can we call it a new king of A-Class? More or less, yes, but it's not like something like the Jesko compared to other S-Class cars, whereas in the A-Class territory, if you have an Imola or if you have an Aston Martin Valhalla, do you really need the Countach? Probably not. And again, going back to the requirements to get this car, sure, you may be able to unlock the car with the key, but at that point, if you don't max it out, it's not even going to be that useful of a car unless you don't have literally any other high-end A-Class car. But the requirements to get to the Countach will require you to have some Lamborghinis like the SC18 and SC20, which are already pretty decent A-Class cars anyway. So again, talking about the stats, even in that scenario, you must commit yourself to getting a very high-starred Countach in order to take advantage of it. The handling is great, yes. The nitro is great, yes. The acceleration is above average, and the top speed is also above average at 241 miles per hour. But again, if you have the Imola at a high star count, or if you have the Valhalla at a high star count, depending on what your situation is in terms of looking for a new car, I just don't think that the Countach is that great of a car to invest in because it doesn't serve as that much of an upgrade from the other A-Class Kings. Now again, if it were something like the Jesko or the Tuatara compared to other A-Class cars, then it might be a different story, but unfortunately this car is just not that great compared to the other Kings in order to justify the requirements and the grind in order to get the car. So overall, I think the community has made its sentiment. I don't think I'm adding too much to the discussion when I'm talking about this car. A lot of people are disappointed not only by the performance of this car, but also when combined with how you unlock this car, and I understand that. And so I'm not going to be buying the Legend Pass. I'm not going to be going for this car in any way, shape, or form. And hopefully Gameloft is listening to the players who are starting this whole boycott for the Legend Pass, and also just to the community in general about requirements and also the time requirements for getting the key for this car. Now, just to talk about my personal side for a sec, I'm not very personally connected to the Countach itself. I wasn't around when it was like the poster car of everyone's childhood. I recognize it as a very legendary Lamborghini and a very legendary supercar at that, but the remake didn't really spark that much in me. I was very excited for it and I think it's cool, but I don't think it's something along the lines of like the Reventon for me in terms of how cool this is as a Lamborghini. So in terms of my personal opinion, I don't think it's that great, which is why I'm not too upset that I can't go for this car. But yeah, I think I'm going to be paying attention more to the other cars in this update, such as the Lamborghini Reventon. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the Countach in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys later.